I'm alive. We're like diamonds in the sky. At first sight, I felt the energy of sun rays. I saw the life inside you. Shine bright tonight. You and I were beautiful like diamonds in the sky. I too, I'm so alive.
Hi everybody, I'm Kathleen Hawkins, your proud president and founder of WOAMTEC. I am so excited to celebrate 2013 with each and every one of you. We have some amazing things happening right now and some amazing ladies that we're going to introduce to you. It's just a great time of the year for everybody to continue to get healthy with their selves, with their lifestyle, to prosper their business, to build and benefit their community, and truly continue to make a blessing out of the lives of others with the gifts that you've been given. We've got a lot of exciting things to share with you. I can tell you Texas is still on fire. I want to congratulate Kiki and Tanya and Lisa and Lily, all of our Texas directors that are just soaring away. I want to give a shout out to the magnificent Dee Toohey for leaving the Central Florida area and flying all the way to Texas just to visit and build and empower the women in Texas with her relationship and helping support and embrace each other. I also want to say Michelle Danaher in Wisconsin, you just kicked butt last month, lady. I am very impressed with you and everything your chapters are doing. And you know what I feel so blessed at is to be part of this vision of people working together to create strategic partnerships, to empower lives, to build businesses, and to strengthen communities. You hear me say all the time that if it's to be, it's up to us. We have to come together, embrace one another, help the nonprofits in our community, help each other reach each other's goals to become the nation that we are truly destined to be. And hopefully today we're going to do a little of that for each and every one of you. It doesn't matter where you're located or who you are or what you're doing. We're going to help try and inspire you personally. We're going to try and educate you from a business perspective, and I know that we're going to help you find purpose. And we're going to start with that by introducing you to a magnificent woman that is in Bel Air, Maryland. So I hope you're staying a little warm there, Jory. Jory Fisher is one of our WOAMTEC directors. She is actually leading a chapter. And hi, Jory. Thank you so much for being here today. Can you tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Want to do, right? Not just exist, but thrive. I'm very excited about that, and I am a former attorney, and I'm formerly from Lynchburg, Virginia, and now I live in Bel Air, Maryland. And Kathleen, I think it would be kind of fun if you said a little bit about how I ended up getting connected with WOAMTEC. We have a certain Mary Lou Caskey to thank, but why don't you say a second about that?
I think that's awesome. And you know what I can tell you is when we first spoke, Mary Lou said, I want you to talk to Jory Fisher. And I remember your first call to me and you were like, okay, so what is your agenda? And I really didn't have an agenda. And the idea of you being a director wasn't even on the radar at that time. And it was just divine. It was definitely a divine meeting, an appointment between the two of us to come together. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping empower and embrace all the women in Maryland, and especially in your Bel Air chapter. But Mary Lou said, Kathleen, I think you should talk. And you know, I think we can all learn from that. If something in your gut, if something inside you says, you know what, this person needs to meet this person, or these two people should talk, you know, hear that as a voice from God, because I really think that sometimes those appointments are very important, and sometimes we ignore them. But I love personally, I like to call it pinging people. You know how you can ping people like on Facebook and say, you know, so-and-so meet so-and-so, and just see how you can make those strategic connections for other people. But Mary Lou, thank you for encouraging me to talk to Jory, because when we spoke, we just kind of said, hey, how can I help you? Who you are? What do you do? Mary Lou thinks we should get to know each other. And now tell them how you went from Virginia to Bel Air and how you've used WOAMTEC as a tool to continue to empower and grow your business.
Happy to do it. It's just been so wonderful for me because I didn't know anybody in Maryland. My husband was transferring from a position in Lynchburg, Virginia to another position in Baltimore, Maryland, and we've been living in Lynchburg for 20 years. Thankfully, I grew up in the Navy, and so I'm used to that kind of thing. So it's like, okay, let's do it. And I was so excited because I knew that I would be starting up with the WOAMTEC chapter of Bel Air under my belt, and I could go out and say to people, hey, I'm starting this professional women's networking organization. Would you like to be a part of it? So it was a wonderful, wonderful way of entering a community, and we are growing. We already have over 20 members. I consider them my friends. So my church and WOAMTEC, that's it for me right here in the Bel Air community. And now we're expanding. I'm getting to know people in the other, because it's really nice. In Maryland, we have other chapters as well, and I'm getting to know those directors. And I just love it. It's been a great way for me to really get involved here in the community. So thank you, Kathleen. Thank you, Mary Lou Caskey.
That is awesome. And you know, one thing I want to point out, Jory, is your chapter is continuing to grow. Tell me how are all the ladies doing? What's the experience like in Bel Air?
Oh my gosh, we have so much fun. We're planning for our winter social tomorrow night. But we just have a blast. By the way, we have to add that we do have 2 male members.
That is awesome. Well, hello to all of you guys that are out there as well.
Exactly, and they love it. So we come together for lunch, imagine that, and we meet the first and third Tuesdays of the month at a very nice restaurant here in Bel Air called Bellisimo's, and it's just great. We have a lot of fun, and we also have a nice community service effort supporting Harford Family House. We've already done 2 projects with them, and the executive director, Joyce Duffy, is elated. One of the things that we did is each of the members of WOAMTEC Bel Air bought a Christmas gift for one of the residents of Harford Family House. It's a resident for parents and children, and ordinarily the mothers get overlooked at Christmas time because all the emphasis is on the kids. So we decided that we would give a present to each mother. And it was just wonderful. They were very, very, very excited about it. So Joyce Duffy, I know, is thrilled to be a part of the WOAMTEC Bel Air chapter.
That is awesome. Jory, you know, I know we had a little bit of technical difficulties when the show first started. Since you're Skyping in all the way from Maryland, tell us again, I know you have a radio show, you're doing seminars, you know, tell everybody a little bit. We're going to talk about building a thriving life and finding your purpose, but yes, tell everybody a little bit more about your company and what you do.
Oh, thank you very much. What I focus on is helping Christian women entrepreneurs in particular. I work with all women of faith. I do have male clients, but I focus on helping Christian women entrepreneurs get crystal clear on their mission, their purpose, their marketing strategies, and then implement that into their business, integrate it into their business, and implement it in their entire life, both business and professional. And I like to say that I help them glorify God through personal and professional success. So I'm a coach, I'm a mentor, and I can help with both online strategies and offline strategies. I have groups, and these would be online groups. So I have people calling in from, you could be living in Alaska and I could help you. So I do a small group business or ministry, and I also, as you say, have a radio show. It's Heart and Soul for Women of Faith, and we air on Fridays. And I have all of this on my website. I have, oh my goodness, I probably have about 150 recorded interviews of dynamic women like myself. All of this is accessible through my website, joryfisher.com. So I love it. Like I said, I help people in small groups. I help people with individual coaching. I have part of a wonderful team of online marketing professionals. I can help with that. Part of this wonderful offline team of marketing professionals called WOAMTEC. I really enjoy it. Thank you for asking.
That's awesome. You know, I would like to hear from you a couple of tips. Like if you wanted to give, if there's a viewer that's out there that's watching right now that just wants to make sure that 2013 is profitable and prosperous for them, what are some kind of tips would you give them to help make sure that you're staying on purpose?
Mm-hmm. Well, it certainly helps to be connected to a divine authority, right? And so that's what I do in my purpose group. I have groups on purpose, groups on performance, and groups on prosperity. And I lead with purpose because I think that once you are really clear on who you are and what you're meant to do and what transformation you're meant to make in the world, that inspires. I mean, let's face it, it's not always easy to get up in the morning and go charge day full of vim and vigor. I mean, maybe you do, Kathleen, but I think for the rest of us, sometimes it can be a little bit challenging. And checking in and, you know, knowing who it is that you are, what you're wired to do, what your divine mission is here on earth, that really does help you get going. So I one absolute tip. I love my method, but of course there are other ways of getting clear on your purpose. Whatever it takes, whatever you do, I think you really need to be clear on your calling, your divine calling. So that's one tip. Another tip, and it's why I have another group on performance. Another tip is that you really absolutely have to stay motivated by making sure you're nourishing your soul, you're nourishing your body. I love the fact that we have somebody here on this Thrive show talking about how to get your body shape in a purposeful way, and that's extremely important. We have to be intentional about keeping our body in shape. So we need to nourish our soul, nourish our body with healthy eating, healthy exercise, and surround ourselves with good friends. I'm all about relationships, relationship to God, relationship to yourself. You have to have a very healthy self-image, and your relationship to others. So those would be my tips, absolutely, without a doubt.
That is awesome. And for anybody that kind of connected with that, and I'm so glad that you picked up on the fact that we really did try and plan our 3 guests today purposely and on purpose. For those of you that may have connected with that and maybe feel like you're not living as divinely as you should be, maybe feel like you're not living on purpose, maybe feel like you're not living as healthy as you can be, I hope you do reach out and connect with different people. Jory's Facebook page can be found on her WOAMTEC profile, or you can find her through her website that she mentioned. And I can tell you, she mentioned the interview that she did with me. It was probably the most raw interview I have ever conducted. So it was, thank you, Jory, for helping me get real with myself and share things. You caught me off guard more than once and actually helped me tell the real story of who I am and what my purpose is and why I get up every day. And no, you're right. Everybody gets up sometimes happy and perky, and sometimes they just need that extra little kick to help them move forward. And as your year continues and you're looking at your goals and your resolutions and the things that you want and the things that you desire, when you get knocked back down, the thing to remember is you do have a purpose, and just pick yourself back up and keep moving forward, because success is not where you are today. Success is not where you're going. Success is how far you've gone from where you started and how many times you keep moving forward. And it doesn't matter if it's in your life, in your business, or with you personally as far as your health is concerned. So Jory, thank you so much. Please tell us real quick a little bit about the upcoming workshops that you have, in case there is anybody that needs to find their purpose.
Oh, thank you very much. We start on January 30th if you want a Wednesday group, and that will be for 10 weeks, or January 31st if you want a Thursday group. And if you message me on Facebook, and that's Jory Fisher, and of course, as you said, you can find me either through the WOAMTEC directory or on our WOAMTEC page. But if you send me a message or send me an email at jory@joryfisher.com, I can fill you in with the details. I don't want to go into all of that right here. But I'll have a Wednesday morning group and a Thursday afternoon group, and you can take your pick. It'll last for 10 weeks. And I am giving a 20% discount to my WOAMTEC sisters and brothers, but primarily sisters. And we will be going through getting really clear on your essence, which is who you are at your core, your blessing, which is what is that transformation that you're able to bring about in the lives of other people, your mission, what is that overarching task or problem that you're meant to solve here on earth, and then your message, what is the wisdom that you're meant to share with the world. And so it'll be a 10-week kick butt wonderful, wonderful workshop on the phone to help you get really clear again on your essence, blessing, mission, and message. And it would be my honor to take through this workshop those women who are listening and members of WOAMTEC. It would be so great. So that's what we'll do, and we start at the end of January. Thank you.
You're welcome. And you know what, thank you so much for sharing that. I know that you have always believed personally into having a lot of mentors and having a lot of support from different people. And you know, when I taught college at the university, one of the things the dean taught me is, he said, Kathleen, if you spend your life teaching others, you will sustain and you will be great. But if you surround yourself with people that can continue to teach you, you will not only be able to teach others more, but you will continue to grow and to thrive and become the person that you're destined to become. And that always stuck with me, because it doesn't matter how successful you are, it doesn't matter how great you are, if you surround yourself with people that are smarter, wiser, and more successful than you, they will lift you up and pull you to a place that you never thought you could be. So Jory, thanks for sharing that. Thanks for being on the show today. Thank you for all you do in Bel Air. I know that if people like your Facebook page and if they sign up on your website for more information, you're going to have lots of prizes that you're going to be giving away. So that is super fun and super cool. And just God bless you in Maryland. Stay warm. And thank you for being on the show today.
My pleasure. Have fun with the other guests. I can't wait to hear what they have to say.
Okay, I'm not letting you off the cut completely. Don't go yet. Don't disconnect her. One last question. What is the biggest obstacle or challenge you have ever faced in your business, and how did you pick yourself back up from that?
Ooh, I would say the biggest obstacle was making the decision to join an extremely high-end mastermind group. And I learned so much for them. I was in it for a year. Kathleen, you and I have talked about it. I learned so much from them, but I couldn't handle the fact that I was spending so much money. And it just really, oh my gosh, it just threw me for a loop. And so the way I handled it, you know, I just didn't go into a deep depression. It was like, all right, these are the numbers I need to make in order to recoup the money that I invested in that mastermind group. And I'm just plugging away at those numbers, and I'm just doing what I need to do. I am encouraged. I joined WOAMTEC, which is excellent, and I love the offline marketing. And then, as I said, I also joined another amazing group led by Ann Sieg for online marketing. And I am just so optimistic and so excited about the future, and I'm just picking away at I mean, as you know, when you start a business, you can invest a lot of money. And I did invest a lot of money in starting my business. And so I just have a plan, and I'm fulfilling that plan, and I'm thriving, and it's really excellent. I'm so glad you asked that question. Thank you.
You're welcome. And, you know, I did that intentionally. I kind of had a feeling where it would go. If you would have shocked me a lot, I don't know what I would have done. But you're going to hear a little bit more from the fabulous Sheila Kramer in just a few minutes, and she's going to talk to you about how she started her business. And the big thing is, whether you started your business the way Jory did or you started your business the way you're going to hear from Sheila, the big thing is when you assess a situation, first, if your gut is just like gnawing at you, like this just doesn't feel right, it's telling you something, listen to your gut, listen to your core, and you're going to hear a lot about your core today. But if something's telling you that it's just not right, it doesn't mean it was a bad decision. It just means that it wasn't the right decision maybe, and knowing how to assess the situation, pick yourself up, and recuperate is very important, and that's exactly what you did, Jory, and I'm so proud of you. Again, we're very blessed. Take care and stay warm. Next, I'd like to introduce you to an amazing person that has helped me strengthen my core. She's actually kicking my butt 3 times a week right now and making me kick my own butt every now and then as well. But you're going to meet Shellane. Shellane is here to talk to us a little bit about how to make 2013 not a time to necessarily diet, not a time to necessarily get in there to try and lose weight, but a time to make life healthier. And she's going to just kind of share some tips. You know, those of you that have known me for a while have seen that I've been on this roller coaster ride of weight gaining and losing and gaining and losing. It's just, but the key was I wasn't being healthy. So before we begin, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do for a living.
Well, my name is Shellane Demarest, and I am a personal trainer. I am also a figure competitor, and I am also now a CrossFit competitor. So we talk about evolving and going into new chapters in our life, and that's kind of like where I'm being led right now. I truly enjoy teaching. I enjoy just sharing my gift of athletic grace that God's given me and sharing it with you 3 times a week and others at the studio.
You know, I think it's really important and funny to mention that I don't have an athletic gift. I was one of the kids on the playground when people were picking, you know, 1, 2, 3. I was always the last to get picked. You know, I was the token person that nobody wanted on their team. So I never was athletic. I never really got into exercising. And there was a period in my life where I trained for about 3 years and got so fit that my husband said I was bulking up and wanted me to stop. So I stopped, and then I was like, well, heck, if you're not happy when I'm exercising, then I'm just not, you know. Big mistake, huge, Jeff, I tell you. But it took me through this journey of it not being about losing weight, but accepting, like for me, I've accepted the fact that I probably will need a trainer for the rest of my life. I probably will, because I'm not disciplined enough to push myself the way you have. Talk to people about if they're struggling with they're not 100% happy with their body. they're struggling with maybe wanting to lose weight or not being able to find that pattern of time to permit themselves to exercise. What would you recommend for them?
Well, what I would recommend, first of all, is 2013, the new year, is not about making that resolution. It's all about making a commitment. It's a promise. It's, in other words, making yourself accountable for the decisions that you make. And it's okay if you fall a little short. The fact is that you are being real with yourself. Moderation is key. And it's all about loving and accepting who you are and not comparing yourself to someone else.
I never did Pilates or yoga, and I always was worried that I'd feel very strange with that. And like I mentioned, I did train consistently for a very long time. What I've discovered and what I like specifically about you and why I wanted you on the show today is you kind of do, it's always different. Like you're always like throwing an exercise that I've never seen or heard about, but you also do unique things that I can easily take on the road with me.
Yes.
And that I could do for 15 minutes or whatever at the end of the day. And it pushes you. Like you've done the simplest things to me and I'm like, wow, why did that hurt so bad? And what's that all about? When you talk about strengthening the core, what do you mean by that?
Well, first of all, I'm going to back up a little bit. You mentioned something about 15 minutes. We are always on the go, and I'm actually just going to use this. We see this often, Target, Walmart. This is a simple resistant tube. Different colors have different resistant levels, but as soon as you pick it up and you pull, it's working automatically. It's light. You can put it in your suitcase. 10, 15 minutes is really all that you need. Or if you are in an office job and you do a lot of sitting, all you would really do is place this underneath your feet and do simple exercises right from your chair. So it's really simple. But to answer your question about the core is simply this. It's not just upper abdominals where you see a lot of people doing crunches. It's upper and lower abdominals. It's the obliques. And it's also working the lower back. So you've actually have 3 parts. It's a 3-dimensional area that we must work, and if you do it correctly, you actually work what's called the cross muscular sling. So if the exercise is done correctly, you actually work areas from the top shoulder diagonally down into the lower section.
And we have a lot of women that are watching today, all age ranges. We have members that are 20, we have members that are 70, that range. But most of our members are between 35 and 55. And I know you're right there.
Yeah.
Exactly. So looking at that demographic and looking at that age group, what is it the core area that most of these women struggle with the most? I mean,
I find what's happening as we go into these stages of our life where, things aren't as perky as they used to be. Resistance training is so important. So whether you use the tube or even if it's just soup cans at home, your muscles as you age start to shrink. And without the adequate amount of resistance training, you're going to look saggy. So by actually doing the resistance exercise, you build the muscle, giving yourself a nice, youthful, lean appearance. I mean, I'm 46 years old, and people don't believe me. They ask to see my driver's license, but I am a walking testimony of healthy living.
Now, have you been healthy your entire life?
No. I actually was in high school. I was a size 18 and growing. I remember going into the stores and the suits, I would take the size, the bottom sizes were always larger than the top sizes, getting in trouble, but struggling with food, understanding what worked, what didn't work, comparing myself to others because I wasn't like everybody else, and I was really not liking myself for the longest time. And it wasn't until this part of my life where I understood food, myself, and exercise, how to do it correctly, is when I finally became comfortable with myself.
And what life change happened to make you say, I'm going to change today?
It's when I actually, back in 2010, had to get a scope done on my knee. And I thought my job, at the time, I was simply just a fitness instructor, and I thought my life was over as far as a teacher. And once I came back from that surgery, that's when I decided I'm going to do all the things that I said that I wanted to do, and hence began my journey as a figure competitor. So I learned how to eat correctly, how to train differently, and became comfortable standing on stage in a bathing suit that big.
I I can imagine that would be challenging. Gosh knows I won't do that. You got a long way to go with me, honey, before that's going to happen. Okay, well, I asked you to share some ideas. So we're all busy women, okay? And the busier that we are, what I want to empower you with, and I would encourage you to do, is just take some time in 2013 to be healthier, to plan on saying, you know what, I'm going to be healthier. If not for yourself, because so many of us won't take time for ourselves. So if not for yourself, take time to be healthier for your children, for your spouses, for your employees, because they depend on you. If you're not healthy, you know, their paychecks go away too. So can you give us a couple of pointers or show us some exercises that you would recommend for the working busy mother that just needs to get started?
Okay. Well, fitness is going towards functional training. You can hear it over and over again. So it's no longer looking good in a bathing suit, because unless you are in a gym environment, you're not going to walk around with your, midsection exposed. It's all about being healthy enough so when you go to pick up that object from the top shelf, say like if you're at Publix and you've got the water or whatever is up here and you go to pick it up, you have to use these muscles to lift and twist and place in the cart. So I'm going to show you 2 simple exercises that you can do. They are simple that you can do.
Trust me, they look a lot simpler than they are. No.
So the main thing is that it's strengthening through here. So the first exercise I'm going to do is it's what's called a hover. My knees, and I'm going to actually do this modified. My knees are hip distance. I'm going to come down on the floor, and I'm going to place my elbows directly underneath my shoulders, and I'm actually going to bring my knuckles together. My toes are going to be down, and what I'm doing is holding my hips level with my shoulders, so I'm not here and I'm not here. So this is a hover. So this is level 1, the easier version, and then once you gain enough strength, you can lift your knees off the floor. And this is where fitness is going, because by doing this, this is what they call 3-dimensional training. I'm strengthening my upper and lower abdominals, I'm using my obliques, and I'm also using my lower back. So I'm going to drop down and go into what's called a plank. And this is, you hear this often in Pilates. So now the hands right underneath the shoulders. Level 1 is this. Level 2 is simply bringing your knees off the floor. And oftentimes incorrect, I see this or I see this. And you want to be right here. So just starting out, if you just do those 2 exercises, that will in fact strengthen your core.
Can you show them the one that blew my mind, where your arm was one way and your leg was the other way? It looked so simple and it blew my mind. It was the hardest, 30 seconds? I don't know how long it felt like 2 hours. It was the hardest short segment of time ever.
So here we go. So we start from the table position, and your knees going to be underneath your hips, hands going to be underneath your shoulder, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my outside leg. I'm going to extend here, and I'm going to extend the opposite hand. And then once you get, strong through the core, what she's talking about, all I did was tilt in a 45-degree angle and just holding this level so your thumb is level with the shoulder and the heel is level with the glute. This is what's now activating that cross muscular sling. I'm going to come down here and release. That's level 1. Level 2, which I haven't done with Kathleen.
I'd fall on my face if you did that with me.
Bring your hand here, lifting your heel up, and bringing this hand out, and then just holding.
That's awesome. Give her a round of applause, everybody.
Oh my goodness.
That is awesome. Anything else before you sit back down that you wanted that was important for you to show us?
Well, I will show one more thing. Side hover. So my knees are going to be lined up with my hips. Elbow again underneath the shoulder. Elbows facing out.
You're fine.
Okay. And I'm going to lift my hip underneath. I'm just going to hold this up. Now, this is, believe it or not, a level. If you cannot lift your hip up, this is fine. This is good. Another variation, and the stronger you get, the more intensity you can add to the exercise. And what that's doing is just working on your oblique.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And while I let yourself pull yourself together and get back up, I think that it's been amazing because it's been a combination of weights and yoga and Pilates and exercising, but what I have felt is how huge it is about strengthening the areas that I need the most help on, but the areas that are the most challenging for me, which is important, and how I do feel like I'm getting healthier, because it's not necessarily just about building your arm exercise or your calves or your thighs. It's truly about becoming stronger, having your core become stronger. And the little things that can happen at, like your knee, if you're not strong, and if you're not aware of your body and your strengths and your weaknesses, can truly affect your future and your health in the future as you continue to move forward. So as far as cardio is concerned, what do you recommend for the working busy woman as far as cardio is concerned? What do you most suggest for a mom that's on the go? Like, what is the minimum for somebody that's doing nothing now? What would you recommend?
I mean, at least 30 minutes. And it could be simple as a walk. Everyone thinks cardio, I must run. You don't have to run. You can ride a bike. You could just, walk your dog. Take, break out the stroller and walk, your child around the block, get some friends and walk together, I mean, cardio is anything that gets your heart rate elevated higher than just typical everyday, just sedentary lifestyle.
I think that that's important. And, I just had somebody, we talked about this the other day, just recently, somebody said to me that we were out on the bike trail and my kids were going, and my son, who's 6 years old, had me going so fast, my lungs felt cold. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, you're breathing so heavy, my lungs felt cold. But it was great family fun time. And I look back on, for 6 years I've had my children, and we never had fun that way. And I think that that's really important. So how can you do something fun and something unique and something different, and continue to challenge yourself?
Right. And also your children, they're seeing you, and you're actually establishing that legacy. You're going to get them more involved in doing things, physically, and then with the right eating, you're also teaching them, the correct way of eating. So you're just passing the torch, so to speak. So
thank you for saying that, because I think that that's important, and that's one of the lessons that I've learned is, I wasn't raised to eat correctly. I mean, my mom, I remember when we got our first microwave. I don't know if it was just when microwaves were invented or our family was just behind the times, but I remember getting our first microwave, and so we grew up in fast foods and microwave dinners and all of that, and reprogramming not only yourself, but reprogramming your children, I think, is really important. So when they grow older and they grow up, they're used to certain tastes, they're used to certain things to eat, and they're not in that fast food mentality or microwave mentality, which is important. Mm-hmm. Now, is there anything else that you wanted to make sure that you recommended or suggested to someone that's out there that's struggling with their weight, with their appearance, with who they are because they're not healthy?
Well, excuse me, have an idea of where it is realistically. We're not looking for perfection, we're looking for results. So that's going to require, I would suggest personally, at least 3 days of resistance training, 2 days of cardio. And with the days that you do cardio, alternate that with some ab work. And please, 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 I can't stress enough, before and after your physical activity, please stretch. That is going to, because we want you to keep doing. We don't want you to overexert and get hurt, and then you're like, I'm not trying that. So make sure that you stretch. Please.
I think that's important. I do want to just mention too, I challenge each and every one of you to try and do a sit-up, because it blew my mind when we first met and got together. It blew my mind how I hadn't tried to do a sit-up in so long, and how hard that actually was. Mm-hmm. And it took the use of this band for me to actually get to the point of doing it, and now it's a challenge to me. It's not exercising to look like good in a bathing suit. It's a challenge for me because I want to be able to do a sit-up again. And I think that a year can go by, 5 years can go by, 10 years can go by, and then you can go, oh my gosh, I can't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. Because your body just changes, which is amazing. So, Shellane, tell them where you're located at.
We are located on 224 West Central Parkway, and that's the intersection of Douglas and Central Parkway. So if you remember where that big shiny mirrored building is right there off of I-4, we're right on the opposite side.
Absolutely. My son calls that the Whistle Building, so it's right near the Altamont Mall. Yeah. So whether you're here in the Altamont area or the Longwood area, or you're in Texas or Georgia and you're watching today, I challenge you to take a moment to get fit, to get healthy, and to make a difference in 2013. 2013. And as I said before, not just for you, but for your kids, for your family, for your employees. And because you know what? You feel better.
Yes,
you know,
you
just
do.
knowing that you're trying makes yourself feeling better. But if you focus on, I should be doing this, you start shoulding all over yourself, I should be doing this, and then your thinking becomes stinking thinking because you just don't feel comfortable with who you are or what you're doing, which is really important. So I challenge you to stop shoulding on yourself and get together and make tomorrow a new day, because you can do it. Not I could do it. You can do it, and you can make a difference. Stay tuned just a moment. Okay, Shellane wants to give away a fabulous prize. So we were so glad that she was on the show today. She's going to give away one free personal training session to the first person that posts the word sling on the live broadcast or on Facebook. Ready, set, go. This is a sling. So post the word sling and you could be a winner today. And see what I've been experiencing. It's been so much fun. We are in the process of booking our 2013 Confident Women Conference this April. It's going to be April 18th. So mark your calendars today, pack your bags, and book your airline ticket, and join us for 2 phenomenal days of great empowering training and fun coming together and being taught by experts all over. If you or someone you know has an educational topic that they'd like to either share at the conference or they'd like to share on WOAMTEC Live, this is a great free branding opportunity for all of our members. It's posted on the WOAMTEC channel as well as on WOAMTEC's YouTube channel, and it just gives you the opportunity to increase your search engine optimization, to help build and brand your business in an entirely new level, in an entirely new way. Speaking of building and branding your business, I want to introduce you to an amazing woman who I have known for several years. I've had the blessings of being featured in her magazine, and she's just helped us in so many unique and amazing ways. Please join us in welcoming the incredible Sheila Kramer with Lake Mary Life magazine. Thank you so much, Sheila, for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. Okay, tell everybody a little bit about who you are and about your company and what you do.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year to everyone. I'm Sheila Kramer, and I'm the publisher of Lake Mary Life, Altamont Springs, we just changed that name, Altamont Wekiva Springs Life, and Oviedo Winter Springs Life magazines. There are 3 lifestyle magazines for Seminole County. We provide good news for people, 65,000 people in our county.
That's awesome. And you know, some of you may be watching and wondering, well, why am I hearing from somebody in Seminole County that runs a magazine company that I can't advertise there or have no desire to advertise there because I'm in Texas? You know, if you're watching right now, tune in, because there's a specific reason why I asked Sheila to be on the show today. She has built an amazing, unbelievable, powerful business in 10 short years and through a recession, which is amazing. So before we talk a little bit about your publication and some business building tips, because that's why you're here today. Right. Can you tell everybody a little bit about, in 10 years, you've grown from what size to what size? Okay. And then maybe to share with them a little bit of some of the awards that you've won in our community.
Okay. First of all, I have to disagree. Anyone can advertise, even if they're in Texas. We started in 2003 with a small publication that we did on our own. We found printers, we found the right paper, we had other samples that we looked at, but we did everything ourselves. This magazine is 24 pages, and we were able to support it on its own because we lived in the community and we knew lots of people, and so people were encouraging us. We had our friends and people that we did business with who supported us with advertising. We wrote the articles ourselves. I was a graphic designer, a very low-level graphic designer that anyone can see by looking at this. But my husband and I really built this magazine together. He had an accounting background, a writing background, an editing background. I was a teacher. So together we started this one magazine. And there was something about it that really hit in the community. They really, really took to it. The first one was 24 pages. The second one was 36. The third one was 42. By the time it got to be 2008, we were probably at 164 pages.
Wow. Which
is the largest magazine in Central Florida.
Absolutely.
And it was just in our one little town. And it was a remarkable thing. It was something that just people related to.
Okay, and from a small business, because I know you started in your home.
We did.
You grew further than that, and you continued to grow. You're no longer in your home, and you're $1 million business.
Right.
Who have won many awards across, in our community.
Right.
You grew from that to this. What are some choices that business owners have to make to go from one level to the next?
Well, first of all, I think that there are two ways that you can start a business. Mm-hmm. You can, if you have the money, that's great. You can borrow money if it's available to you, or you can start really small and let your business grow and pay for itself. And that's what we did. We took, I think we started with $3,000, and we started a bank account, and the first issue, we were able to pay ourselves back and pay all the bills. And then, because we had a product, then we were able to go out and sell more advertising, and as we grew, we only grew based on the advertising sales. There are other magazines which can be translated to other businesses that start out huge. They have big parties to launch a publication. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of successful magazines started that way, but they also started with hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we started with 3 and paid ourselves back. So that's really the difference.
I think that's huge, because all too often, I meet members, whether they're starting a magazine company or they're starting an accounting firm, that they have money stop them from reaching their goals. Mm-hmm. Because you can't get lending like you used to be able to get. You may not have credit like you used to be able to have. So what are some of the ways that you made decisions? How did you prioritize? Okay, now it's time to take on this. And when did you know it was time to move out of your house? Like, how do you reach those levels and those goals?
Well, for us, the first thing was we grew based on our income. We never increased the size of the magazine unless the bills were being paid, and that was really important. We worked out of our home while it was just us, and then our daughter came in and she helped us, and that was fine. When we started hiring administrative people, when we had the absolute joy of hiring a graphic artist who could really make the magazines beautiful, then it got to the point where it wasn't fair to them. And at the same time, while it's great to be able to have your own company, if you do it out of your home, you never get a day off. Mm-hmm. We were always answering the phone, always answering email. We still do that now, but we have to, we really have to
it's easier to walk away.
Right,
yeah.
We can leave the office and go home. Yeah, we answer email, but we don't have phones ringing. We don't have people coming in and out of our home. So it was a tremendous jump for us. But in 1 year, we went from winning the Seminole County Chamber of Commerce home-based business, Best Home-Based Business Award. The next year we didn't qualify for that again. So we were the family-based business. So for 2 years in a row, we're the only company in Seminole County that has been named Best Small Business of the Year 2 years in a row. We also, last year, were honored in Tampa with the state education department giving us an award for the promotions that we've done and the help that we've given to Seminole County Public Schools.
Let's stop and talk about that for just a minute, because last month we did take a moment to talk about cause marketing and how cause marketing can help your business. Winning awards can be important for some people because it helps validate who they are and what they're doing, and a lot of people need that kind of recognition. But it also is good because it helps your company in your marketing efforts. People, you said before the show, you said people like to do business with people that are good people, that are genuinely good people. Part of your success comes from the fact that you put the spotlight on those good people. How have you felt from a business perspective, your affiliation with nonprofits and with schools have helped the publication itself, have helped you build $1 million a year business?
It's a very, very heartwarming feeling to know that through the success that we've had, we've been able to shine a light. When I get a phone call from the head of the Guardian Ad Litem program and she tells me that an article that we did resulted in them getting more guardian ad litem volunteers than ever before. That makes all of the 12-hour and 15-hour days absolutely worthwhile. When it's the 25th anniversary of the Sharing Center that does such amazing work in our community, and we're able to put the people who built it on the cover and give them the recognition that they deserve for their great work. It's a wonderful thing for us because we love to do that. It's wonderful for them, and it makes people know where our heart is. Absolutely. And that people know that if they come to us, people are interested and their ad's going to be seen.
Absolutely. I think that that's so important, and I am so glad that you said that, because I think when we talk about WOAMTEC, the Women on a Mission to Earn Commission, some people know that the commission is really not revenue generating commissions, it's the greater commissions in life. It's helping other people, giving back to the community, really making a difference in the lives of others. And you've heard me say before that when you put into the lives of others, it always comes back to you. Everybody wears a sign that says "Make me feel special," and I truly believe that that's the best part of your business model. And you may not even realize it going into it that people are excited about getting the magazine. People are excited about being in it. I've had business people in our community say, my goal in life is to make it in your publication. And that's pretty cool, knowing that you're making a difference, but you're also giving people the passion to make a difference, partially just maybe to hopefully get the recognition from it, right. From that, which is important. So what are some of the biggest business blunders that you have made?
Boy.
And can you give our viewers any tips on how not to make those blunders?
Well, we really haven't made too many. Good. I have to be honest, that was a good thing. We probably have had some mistakes. One of the things that we've learned is never hire anyone you can't fire. That's a motto that you should really remember if you have your own business. A lot of small businesses, I think, they start doing everything themselves, they bring in family members, and then they ask their friends to help. Mm-hmm. And once you involve friends, then what's more important, your business relationship or your friendship?
Absolutely.
And it's always going to be the friendship. And the business relationship, if it doesn't work, could ruin the friendship. And that's not a good thing. I
think that's a great, great tip, because that is so, so important. And just so you know, Jeff Hawkins, I can fire you. He's Jeff and Tanya over there. But it is true, because you start making emotional decisions instead of logical decisions. And yes. That not only affects the success of your business, but it will affect the energy level in the work environment, in the workplace, which will affect the productivity of your business too, right. Which is important. Right. Now, you mentioned in the beginning making the decision of growing, and never taking on something new. What do you say about like how did you continue to grow if you didn't have the money to, how much did you reinvest? When did you decide, okay, it's time to reinvest it? I know your husband has an accounting background, so Michael, you should probably be here to answer this question. When did you decide that, yes, now this is the investment for our company? Did you set goals? Did you?
The truth is, we never had to invest more money. The company always was self-sustaining. We were in a pretty unique situation. We decided that we were making enough money with Lake Mary Life that we were going to expand. And so we went to see the mayor in the next town, and we said to him, we'd like to come in. And there was another magazine next to him, in the town next to him. Well, the person who had the magazine in Oviedo heard that we were talking about going into Winter Springs. And she said to herself, I want to go into Winter Springs too. So she did the absolute right thing. Instead of going head to head, she called us and we got together for coffee. And we noticed right away that we had this wonderful relationship and we had the same mission. And so we joined together. And her magazine was a little digest, 5x8, and she wanted to be big and beautiful like Lake Mary Life. And so together we grew her business. She has her office out of her home. She has a staff over there. We do all of the work for her. The part that she doesn't like to do, right? We do that for her in our central office with our administrative staff. Our graphic designer helps her, and together we just soared.
I think that's awesome, and I'm so glad you said that as well, because I just talked to somebody yesterday who was in a business, and I was encouraging her to connect with another person in the same field. And she said, well, we're kind of funny about that. We kind of view each other as competition. And I'm like, well, you're a woman, they're a man. It was actually the massage industry. Mm-hmm. And I said, there's a lot of people that won't go to a woman. There's a lot of people that won't go to a man. And there's a way that you can strategically work together. And until you're booked 7 8 hours a day, 7 days a week, there's a way that you can work together and still protect your brand and still protect your business. So don't be afraid to pick up the phone and call. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I want to work with you, or how can we help each other? And you did that for us when Confident Woman magazine first came out. And you said, let's talk about this. I want to help you, Kathleen. And you did. You helped me by reminding me that I didn't want to be in the magazine industry, which I think is really important. Right. Not that you were negative in any way. Now tell me a little bit more about your customers, and how do you make them a priority? How do you fight the battles that you may have with them? What is your view on customer relations?
Well, that's key. Customer relations is really, really important. One thing that we do that I don't think anybody else in Central Florida, I can't speak to what's going on in Texas, but in Central Florida, the competition for print advertising money is very, very tight. We are 100% consistent. We might have friends that advertise. We might have people who've been with us for a long time. We don't cut deals because you can't have somebody. We live in the community. We all live in our community. We actually have 3 magazines, the third one being in Altamont Springs, that has their own community that runs it. But we are all living in our community, and we have to be fair. So people know that it's very important to every one of our advertisers that they're treated fairly. They're placed in the magazine based on a rotation. They're not all paying the same exact price, because some may have been with us for 10 years and some may have just joined. And so we certainly don't raise rates, especially after the recession, or during the recession we didn't raise rates. But we treat our customers as fairly as we possibly can. We know that they are our priority, but we also recognize that we are not their priority.
Right.
They have a business to run. And so if we need the copy right away, we respect their time, and we wait and try to give them as much lead time as they need. We do more proofreading, I think, than anybody else. You're always going to find a mistake. But for example, when we get a new ad, even if it's submitted to us by an advertising agency, I can't tell you how many times the phone number is wrong. So part of our proofing process is that even when we get in a new ad, we call the phone to make sure that the phone number is right. And just as an aside, it's not only that we're checking the number, it's getting the message to our advertisers that we really care that they're going to be successful.
I think that's important, because so many people feel as though it's just all about, the what's in it for me mentality, and it's all of those little things. We had a magazine that actually ran a full-page ad that we spent thousands of dollars on, and it had an incorrect phone number, and it was a cycle that lasted for a long time. And I think we were so wrapped up in the design that was a detail, because we had submitted the detail correct. That was a detail that it passed us. It was, we didn't check it correctly. So I love that, and I love your customer focus, your community focus, everything about what you do as far as your business is concerned. And it's really your heart. And if you can see anything in this interview, I really want to really express that the Kramers do have hearts of joy, and you're sincere, and the community knows that you care. And that's how you build that community brand. That's how you build that business, is not just superficially caring, but legitimately caring. And that's why you have $1 million business. So thank you for sharing. You're amazing. Everything you do is amazing. The last thing that I really want to just focus on is you have a habit. No, you have a unique way, and I'm just saying from what I've observed on the outside, I could be incredibly wrong, but I think you're brilliant about strategic connections. That could be a lot to do with just the fact that you emphasize the people in the community, and the people that are in the community that are being emphasized are movers and shakers and making a difference. But you also really develop, you've always made Jeff and I feel very important, even when we didn't have a reason. Well, even when we didn't have it was like, why is she being this nice to us? But how do you hone in, and how can you suggest to other members that are out there that may not have a publication, but maybe want to be the CPA in their community, or I don't know, the personal trainer in their community, where they have those connections? What do you give people from a business perspective? What is the focus and the reason why you identify key people, and then you continue to cultivate and build that relationship with them?
I think it sounds very simple, but I think the most important thing is to treat every person you come across the way that you would want them to treat you. And we do, whether you are the president of Progress Energy and I want you to buy a 2-page spread, or you are a carpenter and we want to help you build your business, and you maybe can afford to scrape together enough money to be a 1/6 of a page ad, we treat everyone with dignity and we try to help them. We make connections. I also have a tremendous respect for our sales representative in Lake Mary, Penny O'Connell, and anyone in Central Florida knows who Penny is. That's her gift. She is somebody who just wants to help. And sometimes I have to take back a little bit and say, Penny, you know, this is wonderful that you're doing this, but you really have to go out and sell some more ads. But her goal is to help, and it doesn't matter whether she sees that they're going to be running a large ad or a small ad, or whether they're ever going to be advertising. If they have a story, she'll bring us stories that she wants us to share. And so that, I think, comes from her goodness, and we trade back and forth on that, because I have a tremendous respect for her, and I believe she has that for me too.
I believe so too, and
Yeah.
I have met her, and she's a dynamic person. You know, I think that just summed it up perfectly, because as we talk about what you put into the lives of others, it always comes back to you. You know, when somebody wants, when they're making enough money to afford a full page ad, or a 2-page ad, or a 4-page ad spread in your publication, I think that it's really important to remember that those people that aren't today may be able to afford it 10 years from now. So however you treat them today is going to impact how they treat you back and how they do business with you 10 years from now. And you've always been there.
So true, because we've had many times when people have left a business and 2 years later they call us and they're with another business where they've gone into a new partnership and they had a good experience with us and they know that they're going to get results, and so they come back. So you're absolutely right.
That's awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for being
Thank
here
you.
today. It was
This
a
was
pleasure
fun.
to have you on the show. Please share the word, spread the news. This will be on WOAMTEC's YouTube channel momentarily, and it will also be available archived on WOAMTEC.com. Please connect with us. Let us know how we can help you grow your business. Let us know how we can help you make a difference in the lives of others. I hope that today you take a moment and you just kind of reflect upon 2012. Reflect upon what your goals and your desires are for 2013. Get real with yourself on how you can get healthy with your business, with your life, with your community, so you can continue to make a difference with the gift that you've been given in the lives of others. Thank you for being here with us today. God bless, and make this month as prosperous as can be.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. So shine bright.